Hello, lovely listeners. This is Philippa Squared, Parenting by Design. You're speaking with or listening to Philippa Scott and Pippa Cox. We are your team talking all things pregnancy, birth, and parenting related, but we're not talking about the physical stuff, are we, Pippa? We're talking about the emotional and the spiritual side of that journey into parenthood.
Absolutely, because it's something that so totally gets lost in a lot of texts and in a lot of conversations as well. So we just wanted to open it up. Now, I have a funny feeling in my gut, Philippa.
Do you? What is it?
Mm. I think my intuition's trying to tell me something.
You mean it's not a bubble saying you need to fart?
No, it's not a bubble. I need to fart. And it's not even that I'm hungry.
What?
What do you think it's trying to tell me, Philippa?
Is that your intuition?
Is that my intuition telling me that we're going to be talking about intuition today?
Maybe. We
I think
are
it could
talking
be.
about we are talking about intuition. You're a funny lady. Um, one of the things that I talk about a lot, and I think this is really important for people to understand, is that often we hear people talk about instinct, follow your instinct, follow your
Yep.
intuition. And people use those terms interchangeably. But I actually believe they're different. I believe they come from different places. Now, here's my take on it, right? Instinct is all about survival and it's very necessary. If
Oh, love it.
Right, instinct is survival based, but survival is often fear based, right? So when we are responding on instinct, it's all about surviving. There's something scary coming at me. I need to survive this experience. Okay. So for me,
That
that's
is
what
so
instinct is.
good. Yep.
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 Intuition comes from a different space. Intuition is a heart love based, deep knowing. So it's not based
Yes.
on fear and survival, it's based on a knowing. And if you were needing to make a decision about whether or not to have an argument with that big dude over there, you might base that on instinct. Instinct might tell you that he's probably not the guy to pick on, right? Fear based.
Yes, exactly. I am not going to go into that yard with that big dog
Right.
that
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. But
Or walk down that really dark street at night.
yeah, that's instinct right there, right? And it keeps you alive and it is so important. But do you want to make your decisions based on instinct and fear? Or do you want to make your big decisions based on intuition and love? For me, when I come back to my parenting
Well,
decisions, I want to make them based on intuition and love. Because that's a decision that in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, 10 years' time, I know I made from the right space, not from fear, but from love and a deep knowing in my body, in my bones, in my soul. It's that, they in the old days they used to say, I've got a feeling in my waters, right?
yep. Oh, and I can feel it in my bones.
That's my auntie says that all the time. That's about the weather, right? So in her joints, right? So but we have these two different spaces and they're both really informative and they're both really valuable, but intuition is something different from instinct, and whilst they
Totally,
both have their
totally.
place, we want to lean into intuition, right? We want to
Yeah,
lean into that. What are your thoughts on all that?
because I agree with you 100%. With your instinct, it's about survival. It's that primal part of our little reticular activating system,
Yeah.
isn't it? It is the piece that actually keeps us alive. It's that piece that actually got us out of the way of that proverbial saber-toothed tiger back in the caveman days that we
Yeah.
use so much. And the thing with intuition, and it is based on fear, exactly what you're talking about. It's survival. Survival is based on fear. But with instinct, it's the opposite end of the spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I love that. And I love that it is based on love. And I, one of the things I really think so much about instinct. Okay. One of the thing about instinct is that it opens ourselves up to the powers of the universe.
Intuition or instinct?
Intuition. Did I say instinct?
Yes.
Well,
See
that's
how
really
easy
silly
it
of
is?
me. They both start with I, don't they? Let's talk about intuition. Let's talk about intuition, baby, okay? And it really opens up to our to the powers of the universe, and it's
Mm.
actually backed by science. It's backed by quantum science, and
Tell us
it's
about
really
that.
kind of cool. And as you know, I've become a Qigong teacher. I love Qigong. For those of people that don't know Qigong, well, let me tell you, I'm going to segue because it has actually got something to do with intuition, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
So it will round back. But Qigong is an ancient Chinese practice that deals with the skill of working with your energy and the energy of the universe. So you know how we flip on on our computer and we get Wi-Fi. Where does that Wi-Fi come from?
It's
It
a
comes
frequency,
from
right?
absolutely, absolutely, and that's basically what the universe is. It's frequency, vibration, and energy,
Mm.
and it's really kind of cool. So if can I get a little bit nerdy? Is that all right?
Sure, why not?
Is that okay? So when you're looking at every single cell in our body, every single atom on Earth, okay, you have the cell, you have the proton, the electron, and the neutron. And the electron's busy running around doing its thing. Now, in between that is space. So when you're actually looking down on it, there is a philosophy that is grounded by science that our physical bodies are actually 99% space.
Wow.
Because every single cell in our body, we've got the mitochondria, we've got the nucleus, we've got the ribosomes, we have all these little beautiful functions in every single cell in our body, that each and every one of those structures has their own purpose.
Mm.
And in between those structures is space.
Mm.
And then you have the cell membrane, and then you have the next cell. So this is when you're looking at us specifically. So we're looking between the space.
Mm.
So intuition is actually backed by science because it's actually using that quantumness, that quantum theory of energy, the frequency, vibration, and energy to actually hone in on all the possibilities of what is around us.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That's so cool. So cool. It's,
Yeah.
we one of the things I know we wanted to talk about, and when we're doing this ad hoc, people, we just love talking about intuition and so on. This is this is not something we planned other than let's talk about intuition and why is it important, right? So, one of the things I think is important for us to talk about is this idea that we make lots of decisions in our life, and as parents, we're from the time we choose to conceive, have a baby, give birth, how we give birth, how we parent, all of those sorts of things. We're making decisions from one place or another. And often when shit hits the fan, we go to instinct, right? Because it's that primal space. And when everything's out of whack, we're going to make that decision from instinct because it's
Yeah, the
just gonna we're
flight,
just gonna
fight, and
survive.
flight response, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Um, but when what I guess we're advocating for and we're talking about is that the very best ways to make a decision are from intuition. What does your heart tell you is the right thing to do? It was interesting. I was talking to a gentleman this morning, and we were talking about the idea of our subconscious core beliefs and them running the patterns in our life, right? And I know you've probably heard me use this analogy before, but this idea that our subconscious core beliefs, they run our life, and they're kind of like my Skoda Kodiak, which has lane assist. So when I put cruise control on, lane assist kicks in and it keeps me in the lane, right? So I can take my hand off the wheel. I don't, by the way, but if I take my hand off the wheel, it will take me round the bend in the road. So I'm on the freeway and I'm in my lane, and it'll take me around the bend, keeping me in the lane that I've picked. Right? If I want to change lanes and I don't hit the indicator, I have to fight the car to do it. It's physically, I'm fighting the car because it's keeping me in the safe lane. Now, if I flick the indicator on, I can move lanes really easily. That's fine. And I can pick a new lane to stay in. But if I don't flick the indicator, it's a fight, right? And that's what our subconscious core beliefs are. They are they are the patterns and the internal scripting that we live our life from. Now, when what I was talking to this gentleman about was the idea. I saw a reel come up on my I don't know, one of my social medias. There was this video, and it was all these mums and their kids tricking their dads, right? And it was American based because they do a lot of respect stuff over there. It's very perfunctory almost, right? So they had these mums calling out, asking their kid to do something, and their kid responding with a out of line response like, shut up, I'm not doing that, I'm busy, or whatever. And these dads experiencing this disrespect and then responding. And I was gobsmacked. Actually, I was horrified at how many of those dads' immediate response was to jump up off the couch or wherever they were and go to beat the crap out of their kids for being disrespectful without asking a single question, without questioning what might be going on, where all this might be coming from, or where their own response might be coming from. Their immediate response was to get up and go to beat the crap out of their kid. And I'm horrified by that, because what that is that that's their own genetic makeup. That's their own story coming back to parent. And they damage the next generation, the generation after, and the generation after when they do that. That's instinct, right? That is not intuition, and that is not what we're hoping to make. That's not what's going to break the cycle and create generations of, because what was happening there is not a child behaving out of respect, but a child behaving out of fear.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And we're living in a fear-based society now, aren't we, Philippa? It's crazy. But one of the things, I love that story. I love that story. One of the things I find really interesting about intuition is that when you're pregnant, your intuition goes crazy if we allow it.
Yes.
And do you know why?
Why?
Can I geek out again? As you know, Philippa,
we can't stop
love
you.
the science. Okay, yeah, you can't stop me. So you know about the pineal gland.
Yes.
We've got this beautiful, lovely pineal gland that's in the center of our brain. Basically, it's behind our ears, and it's sort of back with a third eye. Now, did you know that the pineal gland, it secretes melatonin, which is responsible for our circadian rhythms? Fantastic, awesome. It's also got these crystals all around it that are like little antennae to the universe, to the quantum field.
Mm.
And it picks up on the energy, frequency, vibration that is responsible, well, one of the things that's responsible for our intuition.
Wow.
Now, can I tell you something else that's really interesting? And this has been scientifically backed as well. Please look it up if you want to. for anyone that wants to look at it, fluoride that is common in our water, that is actually, fluoride's been banned in a lot of countries in to be put in water in Europe, but it's
Mm,
in a lot of Australian water supplies. That stops those beautiful crystalline antennas in our pineal gland.
mm,
It calcifies them.
wow. Wow.
Isn't that interesting? And so by doing that, by drinking normal tap water,
Mm,
we are actually dampening down our intuition.
wow.
We still have it, but it means we have to become more self-aware
Mm,
and more in tune with the energy, vibration, and frequency of the whole world, i.e., internet, Wi-Fi, radio waves, all that type of stuff, because that still uses those frequencies.
mm,
And yeah, to actually really help our intuition to really
mm,
hone in on it.
mm,
And that's why having water free of fluoride is so important. One of my friends, he has not drunk tap water for about 30 years.
yeah.
He is seriously, his intuition is so incredible.
Yeah.
He can manifest just about anything he wants to.
Interesting, isn't it? I don't think I think there's a huge gap even in people's understanding of what intuition feels like and looks like in their body. I remember being pregnant with my first baby, and I was about 4.5 months pregnant, and I kept having these dreams, these really weird dreams where I was bringing a 6 month home from the hospital because at the time that like I planned a hospital birth for my first two children. Um, I had these dreams. I was bringing home a 6 month old from the hospital who I'd never bathed, fed, put clothes on, done anything for. And it's 6 months old, right? I'm bringing home this baby
Yep.
and freaking out like, holy crap, what do I do now? Right? And and my interpretation of that dream was because it kept happening. I kept having this dream over and over and over again. My interpretation was that I didn't know what it was that I needed to know. Or I didn't know how to be a parent. I didn't know how to care for my baby. And
Yeah.
so I went out and I bought a really good book and I devoured it. And the dreams went away.
Yeah.
My
It's
your
interesting, isn't it?
right, because your imagination is the language of your unconscious, and your unconscious is where you receive this stuff about in line with your intuition, right? It is where often you
Hmm.
get the messages that you need that your intuition is giving you, right? You get some sort of knowing, right? And so sometimes that comes through dreams. That's your intuition is telling you what you need to do in order to be okay or in order to make the right choice. And I wake up in the morning with so many amazing ideas. I don't remember dreaming, but they come to me in my dreams so often. I get these
Yeah.
beautiful creative ideas and these answers to problems that I've been ruminating on. Because and our imagination, we often daydream, right? We have these daydreams. They are so valuable, but we're in such a fast-paced society, we don't even let our kids daydream. Something is constantly put in front of our kids. There's always a sporting event or a music lesson or something to go to. We don't just let them lay. I remember laying on the grass, looking at the clouds, imagining different things, right? Do you remember doing that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember doing that.
And I remember being
Yeah.
bored as crap and having to create things. So in that space of imagination, creativity, and that's where we really learn to listen to our intuition. That's where
Mm.
our stuff happens. And intuition feels interesting in your body. Would you agree?
Yep. And you can feel it in your gut, you can feel it in your heart, you can feel it in your whole body.
Yeah.
You can just feel it. It's just a matter of tuning into it. And you hit a really, really, really good nail on the head where you're saying we're so busy. When
Mm.
we're so busy, we're not self-aware.
Yeah.
And remember we had that great conversation with
Yes.
Prudence Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was fantastic and actually saying that it's really important, and you were saying this as well, to just take a step back, relax,
Mm.
feel into your body,
Yeah. Yeah.
get to know our body. Our body knows so much that we completely and utterly ignore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Totally.
by having that silence, even if one of the things I love to teach mums is there's always that time before the kids get up
Mm.
that's completely and utterly silent.
Yeah, I haven't actually experienced that as a mum of four. I'm
You've got 4 kids though. Your household is amazing.
Yeah, so there isn't always a space before the kids get up. If you've got an early riser, that is not always possible. And if you've got another one who's a late going to bed, you are literally end to end kids.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's not always there. So I'm going to put some reality into that space for those of us who have multiple children. There is often times when it feels constant. It feels like there's always someone constantly in your space or on your body or around you. And I think the answer though is still there, Pippa, right? It's still about when you're in that space and there is a quiet moment with your baby and you are, whether you're feeding baby to sleep or whether you are lying down for the night, and whether you co-sleep or not. I co-slept with all my children. um, there is space in those moments to check in if you're
Because all you
feeding your
need
baby.
is 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
All you need to do is breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Breathing is a way of life. And to getting back to the qigong, like
Yes.
getting back, like yeah,
Go
it's a full
round.
circle now. Woo! The qigong practice I found is so good in releasing our day-to-day tension that's in our body.
Mm.
Because you know when you've had a really busy day and at the end of the day you're feeling really tired,
Yeah.
the reason why you're feeling tired is because you've held this tension in every single cell in your body all day. What
Mm.
Qigong actually teaches us is the art of flow,
Mm.
which is the art of being busy without the tension.
Oh, I have to
So
learn that.
I've been telling you for ages, Philippa.
I know. I've been too busy. Right?
But
I'm
it's
in a space of you
incredible.
learning. Mm.
I've just got this great story of my first interaction with that, with flow. And I'd been doing Qigong constantly for maybe 6 months.
Hmm.
And this is when I was working in a hospital as a midwife. And I came on shift. I was working on the ward this time, and I came on shift. And likewise with hospitals, particularly in maternity units, you never really know what you're walking into,
Yep.
right? And I walked into chaos. Someone had birth, there was just chaos everywhere. And there was people were running around like chooks with their heads cut off. And I just walked in there and I just basically took charge and I went, okay, do this, 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 and this. And I did it with such calmness.
Mm.
It was like I was the center of the eye of the cyclone. And from that, from my flow state, everything just flowed. The stress
Mm.
level went down within a couple of minutes and everybody just got on with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Do you know what I think is really
And
interesting? Yeah. Go on.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and also with flow state, that another really good example is Kathy Freeman. When
Yeah.
she won the gold medal at the Sydney 2000 Olympics, she was in flow. Now, with this flow, and she said she can't even remember running because she was in the zone. Rock climbers are in the zone. So many elite sportsmen are in the zone. Now, that is also tapping into our intuition
Mm.
because it's tapping into this universal way of knowing,
Mm.
which is quite extraordinary.
I think the one thing that is interesting about being in a space of intuition, and that when I talk about that deep knowing, the interesting thing about that deep knowing is it feels safe.
Oh,
And
bingo! Pen
right,
drop.
it feels
Pen drop.
I need a mic, right? Drop the
Yeah.
mic. It feels safe and it feels strong, right?
Yes.
It is the kind of space where you can make that choice and go, yep, and just with absolute confidence, yep,
And certainty.
absolutely. And that's what, because when you're following your intuition, it is that really deep, I've got this. And here's what I think most people in this world suffer from. It's a lack of being able to tap into that, because so many experiences in our life, so many of our childhood experiences, our adult experiences have eroded our confidence in our ability to tap into that and to make a decision that we feel comfortable and confident in, because history tells us that we get in trouble when we do that, or history tells us that we can't trust ourselves, or whatever the case might be, right?
And absolutely.
And
Totally get that. Totally get that.
so we need to resolve that stuff in our body and in our unconscious so that we can have faith and trust in that. And when we start to, like, when we do that, when we heal that stuff and have a new paradigm, we then have experiences where we do follow our instinct, and then we create a new paradigm because we are tapping into this new experience and we're rewriting our history. Our history now says we do make good decisions. We can follow our instinct and our intuition when they are, because both are valid, both are actually required. You want to be able to tap into both. You just want to make your decisions from the right place. And here's where I see a lot of women making into instinctive decisions instead of intuitive ones. When they choose their care provider, when they choose where they birth, when they choose to have the induction because the care provider said, you know, if you don't, there's double the risk of your baby dying, right?
I know.
Hold
Don't you
on,
love that? For 0.2% to 0.4%. Oh my God, that's tragic.
right? So and that's not based on intuition. That's not them stopping and questioning their own set of circumstances, their own risk factors, their own gut and what it says about them and their baby and whether everything is okay. That's them responding on instinct. If I make the wrong decision and I kill my baby, what is
You
it? You
just,
know?
that is another mic drop. What you did just then. Is your body contracting or is your body expanding?
Mm, yeah.
That is it in a nutshell. How do you feel when you're actually making those decisions?
Yes.
And the thing is, and I love this conversation, and we could talk about this for hours, can't we? But I know
We
we've
could,
got to
but we
wrap this
won't.
up. No, yeah. Is one of the things is to truly take stock, breathe,
Mm,
breathe into yourself, breathe into your body, become self-aware, not just in your head,
yeah.
because we're too much in here. We need to
Mm,
be in our heart, in our gut,
mm,
everything from basically our heart down.
mm,
We need to be into our bodies, and we can do
totally.
that with the breath
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and drinking non-tap water.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up here and now. I think this is certainly something we could come back and discuss again. We're really interested in our listeners giving us topics they'd like to hear more about, because we want to make this relevant for you. So if you've got ideas about other topics you'd like us to talk about, please feel free to send us an email. Do that. Jump onto our Facebook page, which is Philippa Squared Parenting by Design. Follow the podcast. We will have in the show notes, a little bit about this podcast, but also how do you get in touch with Pippa if you want to work with Pippa? How do you get in touch with me if you want to work with me? So all of those things will be there waiting for you. Reach out, tell us what you want to hear about, give us your feedback, share, do all the things. We love to have you as subscribers because we have so much going on. We talked about talking to Prue. We actually talked to Prue before we recorded this one because that was her availability, but she will be on next week. And so you're going to hear some incredible things from Prudence Todd. So, we've got so much in store for you, but please join us on this journey of learning discovery. Thanks again, Pippa, for an amazing episode. And
thank you, Philippa.
We look forward to seeing you all again next week. Awesome. Thanks again. Bye for now.
Okay, thank you. See ya.